What is up, YouTube? It's TF Collector, and today I will be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Concept Art KSI Widow. And before we take a look at the figure herself, we will first, of course, take a look at the packaging that she does come in. You can see on the front, KSI Widow Alt Mode, nice license McLaren, Transformers Studio Series, Transformers Age of Extinction, Concept Art KSI Widow, Hasbro, 17 steps on this side, a nice picture of KSI Widow, that's her name, Studio Series, Age of Extinction. On the other side, you get the rest of that picture, Autobot logo, Studio Series, Deluxe Class. On the back of the packaging, the TF4 logo, Age of Extinction, Concept Art, KSI Widow. KSI Widow is a drone controlled by Galvatron. 17 steps, you have some nice pictures of the figure there. This is a licensed McLaren product. Authentic barcode Hasbro on the bottom, nothing on the top. Takara Tomy and Transformers Age of Extinction, Concept Art, KSI Widow. And one last thing before we take a look at the figure. It does, of course, include the instruction manual. You have the figure there, Transformers Studio Series, KSI Widow, Age of Extinction 8 and Plus on the back, Takara and Hasbro. And moving to the figure herself, this is the concept art KSI Widow, which of course is based on the Widowmaker concept art from Transformers Age of Extinction. But here we have her in her alt mode, and it is a beautiful licensed McLaren. But coming in close on the details, you can see the McLaren logo there up front, some nice black on the grille. Little bit of a silver color used there for the headlights. All the windows and windshields are done in the translucent plastic. You see the wheels are all painted in a nice silver color. Nice little bit of black there. Coming down the back, some nice silver paint going on. Some black across there. McLaren is written right there. I'm not sure if it's going to want to focus on it, but that right there, that says McLaren. It's not going to want to focus, but it's there, I promise. You can kind of sort of see it. The other side is the same. Now, I do have some trouble keeping this tabbed in. I'm not sure why. It gets on my nerves sometimes, but it's fine. There's the top. There is the bottom. You can kind of see how everything's going to work out. And she can, of course, roll, because she is a car and she should do such. And KSI Widow does come with two accessories, both of which are stored away in the alt mode. It is part of the transformation, so we will take a closer look at those accessories in robot mode. But for some quick comparisons here in alt mode, first here is KSI Widow with Studio Series 02. Deluxe Stinger, so you can see how those two look together. A couple of cars that I will never be able to afford. And here she is with Studio Series 11. Deluxe Lockdown from Age of Extinction. Once again, a car I will never be able to afford. We just love Michael Bay's car choices. And last but not least, here is KSI Widow with Studio Series 90 Galvatron, the leader of all the KSI bots by the end of Age of Extinction. And as you can see, they do look pretty cool together here. But that is about all I have to say about the alt mode here. It is a very nice licensed McLaren. I do much appreciate them getting the official license and making this alt mode look really awesome. But let's go ahead and go through what is a pretty interesting and kind of fun transformation. So let's go ahead and get down to it. The first thing you're going to do is pop this whole middle section up. So I kind of like to just kind of try to get my finger in right here above the windows. You can kind of see you have your windshields there. It does tab in multiple different spots, and you can see I've just popped it off. Don't do that, but pop this whole section up. Let me put that back on. And now that we have the Widow back in one piece, we will continue our transformation. So the next thing we're going to want to do is come down here and just untab these door wings from each side here. You can see there is a little slot that they tab into right there. And this entire section is going to rock up. So just make sure you grab the door wings. You just want the door wings in this chest section to rock up and sit there like that. And now if we get this out of the way, you can see they've already done it for me, but you can go ahead and take the guns out, place them off to the side. Basically how this works is you can see the little tab right there will tab into those slots right in there, and that is where the guns will store in car mode. But now we can go ahead and take her arms and just bring those up, get them up and out of there like so. Come on, get on up out of there. There we go. And then we can untab her head. This whole panel here will untab. Just hold that in place. You can see it tabs right into her butt right there. Gotta love that. And just bring it up, and there is a tab right there that will tab in up here. So just tab that in to hold all that in place. And now we can finish up this section. So just bring these pieces up, and you take the door wings and bring them down, and make sure you go ahead and bring the arms the rest of the way up so those are oriented properly. And there you go. There you have the upper body of KSI Widow all transformed up. And now what we can do is move down to the legs. So take these pieces, bring them up. You can see there's a little piece that sticks out there and a little notch back here that piece will go into, because it is on a slider. So you're just going to slide it in, and it will go right into that notch right there when you get that around where you're supposed to have it. So just notch that in, and that is how that should look. So just undo that, bring that around, notch it in where it's supposed to be, and there you go. And now you want to untab this whole section. Now be careful, because these two tabs right here are T-tabs, so you're going to want to try to shake those out. That way you don't break them, but the rest is just normal tabs. So you can just untab the rest, and there you go. Get all that untabbed. And now we're going to accordion all this in. So just accordion that piece in, that piece in, that piece in, and bring that piece back up, and tab that back in, and then bring this little piece out. That will serve as a heel spur. You can see it's on a little hinge. Just bring that out. And now the trickiest part of the transformation for me, you're going to want to bring her toe down, which can give me some trouble sometimes. Hey, I got it on first try. There you go. Just bring her toe down, and there you have a leg complete. So do the same thing on the other side. Play the accordion, 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 accordion. Tab that back in. Bring that heel spur out, come in here, get her foot, get it out. Wow, it's working so nicely for me today. Yay. But once you get all of that done and get her nice and oriented, there you have the concept art KSI Widow in her robot mode. And I must say I am very happy with the way this figure turned out. I think the transformation is very new. It's nothing you've really seen before. It's fun to do some nice pieces of engineering, and I think both modes look really cool. But coming in close on the head sculpt, if we can get it to focus, there we go. You can see nice silver used on the face there, some yellowish orange for the eyes, and another bit of that yellow there. The dreadlocks going on, of course. You have the orange up top going on. You can see you have the car details going on through here, but some nice silver and orange paint also. Some more nice orange down on the legs. Some nice gray paint going on there. You do, of course, have your wheels here on the side, moving up the arm. Some nice orange right there, painted on the forearm. Overall, it does have some nice picked out paint details throughout, something you're not used to seeing in Studio Series, really. Backpack-wise, nothing to be seen here, just the door wings, but that is how they've designed the figure. And I, overall, think this robot mode has turned out very awesome. And as far as articulation goes, I think this is where this figure struggles a little bit, but she can still articulate pretty well. The head, I think, is on a ball joint. It can sort of wiggle and waggle. It can look up a little bit, down a little bit. It can rotate side to side, but it cannot do a full 360 because, as you can see here, they've actually molded some dreads going downwards out of her head, but they're not actually attached to her head. It's a cool piece of detailing, honestly, but due to the way it's designed, you cannot get that head to rotate a full 360. The arms are on ball joints. They can do a full 360. They can move in and out. You do have bicep rotation there on a mushroom joint. You do have elbow bend, which is kind of tight on mine. About 90 degrees of elbow bend there. Nothing at the wrist, nothing at the waist. The legs can kick forward that far, backward, that far, outward, just till you hit that piece there on the side. You do have a thigh rotation. You cannot really get to 90 degrees of bend due to the design, but if you want, you can totally untab that, and now you can get to 90 and kind of just fold that over. So that's an option that you have to give you a little bit more articulation. And as far as the feet go, there's really nothing due to transformation. You can move the toe up, but other than that, no rotation, no tiltage, just nothing there at the feet, which is where I think the articulation is a little bit lackluster. The waist and the feet are unfortunately not able to move very much. And as promised, we can bring in her accessories, and she just comes with 2 of these little blasters here done in gray plastic. They look pretty cool in my opinion. Now these can store here in robot mode. Basically what you do, I'm just going to show how to do it with one, but you see there is a slot there, and you use that same tab from alt mode and just tab that up in there, and you can close that up, and you can totally have them stored there on her door wings if you want. But as I like to do, and you can also do if you wish, you can of course have her holding her weapons, or in this case having them on the side of her arm, because they do just clip right here onto the side of her arm. Now this can be a little tricky for me sometimes. It's not going to be tricky right now, it's going to make me look like a liar, but you do just clip these onto the side of her arms. Just make sure you hold that arm steady, and oh, this one will be tricky for me. This one will prove my point. Yes, clip. There we go. You can just clip those onto the side of her arms, and you can have her wielding her weapons. And now for some robot mode comparisons. First, here is the KSI Widow with Studio Series 02 Stinger. So you can see how those two look together, about the same height there. Here she is with Studio Series 11 Deluxe Lockdown. So you can see how those two look. Lockdown, of course, a little bit taller than the KSI Widow there. And last but not least, here she is with Studio Series 90 Voyager Galvatron. So you can see how those two look together. Galvatron, of course, taller, as he should be, being a Voyager class and her leader from the movie. And lastly, but not leastly, I think I'll be able to find one. Here she is with the concept art of Widowmaker, so you can see what they loosely based this design on and loosely named her after. And I think that this was a great take on the Widowmaker character. I'm glad that we finally have a figure of that concept art. So that is my review for Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Concept Art KSI Widow. And overall, super happy with the way this figure has turned out. Love the looks of the figure in both robot and car modes. I think that licensed McLaren alt mode specifically is one of my favorite recent alt modes that we have gotten for a car transformer. But I am super happy that we have the robot mode also, of course, based off of the Widowmaker concept art, and it looks awesome. I love the engineering of the transformation. A lot of new bits that we've never really seen before. I specifically like the way that the doors work back there. I think that is really cool. And also appreciate the fact that you can store the guns under those doors. I think that looks really cool as well. Just all around a complete package and a really fun figure. We actually get some painted details here in robot mode, which is something you don't see very often on a Studio Series figure. So I do love that. And of course, I did have the small complaint of the articulation. Do wish she could have had a little movement in her lower legs, specifically the feet, maybe an ankle tilt, and of course a waist joint would have been nice. I know wrist rotation is kind of pushing it for a deluxe budget figure, but a waist rotation at least would have been really nice to see, and the ankle tilts. But other than the articulation, super happy with the way this figure has turned out. So if I had to rate her on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give KSI Widow an 8.5 out of 10. Super happy with the way the figure turned out. Once again, I do really enjoy this one. So that is my review for KSI Widow. I will be back soon with Studio Series 42 Voyager Lockdown. We'll get back on our journey through the older Studio Series figures here soon. And until then, don't forget, never sacrifice the things you love for the approval of others. Roll out. Peace.